chapters into Blue Lock, and I want to make a video about ego and really focus on how people talk about ego versus how it's been portrayed so far. A lot of fans, including heavy soccer fans, had a big problem with Blue Lock. They felt like the idea of ego did not fit the team concept in soccer. And the thing is, the author agrees with that. During the first selection, Isagi's team goes against Baro's team. Many members on Isagi's team act extremely self-centered, only focus on their own goals. And because of that, they get annihilated for it. And we have Isagi's team members after the match, after they act so selfishly, that wasn't really soccer. And that concept is lame and would not work the same way the fans do. It seems to me the author was very self-aware that people might misinterpret what ego really is. What ego is trying to do is create a hero, which translates to one person being able to take the lead with their overwhelming abilities and the rest of the team following, and that's what Baro did. Baro's overwhelming individual skill made his other teammates follow him and make them work better together. Having ego is about highlighting your own strengths so that you can make yourself better for your team. Lastly, having ego is having the courage to chase your dream. And when you put it all together, it's about highlighting your own individual strengths to help out your team, and the hope is that someone will rise to the top to be a leader so that that leader can galvanize a team together. And when that person is able to put all that together, they'll be able to accomplish their dreams and be the world's greatest striker. I want to do a video talking about the importance of humility in Blue Lock. I want to talk about some of the non-edgy parts of Blue Lock because I think the way the fandom talks about it, it does not encourage new readers. We learn from ego that failure is a part of the process, and that even the greatest strikers cannot avoid losing. But what's important is what you learn from failure. And we see that ego goes on to describe athletes who can never accept their flaws, and how ultimately that will hold them back. And I think we see this really well through Baro's character development. At the beginning of the story, we see Baro is very unwilling to work with others and also see his own flaws. And because Baro does not have the humility to look at his own flaws, and unwillingness to cooperate, he's actually described as a waste of talent. And so as expected, Baro crumbles. And in his mind, not being in the spotlight is a failure to him. But it's through this failure that he's open to his greatest change. We see later on, he's actually willing to learn from other people like Isagi. And this self-awareness will help him in the long run. And what I really like about this concept is that it ties back to the early chapters. With a chance to go to nationals, Isagi faces a great defeat. But it was through that loss is why he was able to get into Blue Lock. He accepted his flaws and is now determined to make himself better. And this is something very consistent with Isagi. He's always willing to learn about his flaws. Having the humility to accept defeat, be willing to learn from other people, is one of the key aspects of becoming the world's greatest striker. Because you can't accomplish a dream unless you're prepared to fail. Spoilers to the second selection of Blue Lock. Before I get into this video, y'all better not spoil me. I will be blocking people if you try to spoil me. Now, I just started my Blue Lock journey, and I'm a big Kunigami fan. I pretty much like all the guys on Team Z. Like, I'm very fond of the group dynamic that is Team Z. So I have no problem admitting a bias. I wanted all of Team Z to clear. Now, obviously, I started to realize that might not be the case, but Kunigami was one of them ones that's like, you gotta make it. He's like that protective big brother. I really like that type of character. So when I see Iguru walk through and not Kunigami, bro, I was so pissed. Like, I get it, he's Team Z as well, but that smug look on his face, I'm like, yo, he snaked Kunigami. He snaked him. But I was like, okay, still one more person. I'm not liking my chances, but there's still one more person. When I saw this wannabe Orochimaru dude walk through, I actually stopped reading. You can ask people in my life, I literally walked away. I was so pissed off, bro. And I was most mad at him for some reason. I was just like, I feel like you got something to do with this. I was mad, bro. But then the wild card, I was like, oh, my dog can still make it. We living still. The way that my heart was racing, I was like, there's no way Blue Lock got me feeling this way, bro. This is crazy. And another reminder, y'all better not spoil me. I will be blocking people if you spoil me. I don't want any kind of hint. I don't want nothing. I want to know, what was your initial reaction to this moment? That's what I want to know. We're just rating Manga, and today we're going to be rating Blue Lock. I just caught up and I really want to talk about the art in this manga. One of the first things that stands out of Blue Lock art is the expressions. Consistently drawing overly expressive characters is actually really hard to do. The story of Blue Lock and the characters are extremely dramatic, so having the expressions to fit works really well. The next thing I really want to talk about is the composition with the paneling. The way the author uses a lot of the vertical panels make the pages not seem as dialogue heavy, because you can fit in more information, but it still gives the pages enough room to breathe. Next thing up is the artistic symbolism. The author comes up with a lot of creative ways to show characters expressing their ego. And if it's one thing this artist is gonna do, is draw Isagi with these damn puzzle pieces. At a certain point, I was thinking he's gotta run out of ideas to draw these puzzle pieces, bro. When I saw it with this brain panel, I was like, okay, this artist is really creative. For the most part, the puzzle pieces just show Isagi's thought process, but always finding new ways to show that is very impressive. And lastly are the 2-page spreads. And what's crazy to me is not even how good they look, it's the amount of 2-page spreads per chapter. There will be chapters, and I am not exaggerating, where there are like 5 straight 2-page spreads. Every time I think that we've seen enough 2-page spreads, the artist be like, nah, I got one more. Overall, Blue Lock's art is very obviously a 10 out of 10. So I have a question for y'all. Does Blue Lock have the best art in New Gen?